10 seconds.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the View from the Dead Box. Whew. Last week we had a little bit of talk about the MVPS.
Yes, we did.
And this week I think we're going to touch on paintball tournaments in general from a view of a non-paintballer.
That'll be interesting. Guess what, though?
What?
I got a camera again.
Thank God.
I do. What was it, like a month?
Yes.
It was a while. My cheap ass was...
The tech guy of the group.
did not want a new camera.
Wow.
The lightning, man, it really fucked up my whole computer system, so... But, we're back. We're back.
So
you want to talk about paintball for, like, non-paintball players? Is that what you're saying? Like,
well, I mean, maybe, like, describe the game of paintball to somebody who doesn't know about tournament paintball.
Okay. Yeah, I think I kind of like that. I know Matthew Strohmeyer, who we've had on here as a guest, he kind of brought that up to me at the MVPS. So that's definitely, I think, a good idea.
Yeah.
So I'll be reading a little bit from PB Nation too. Just, you know what I mean? Because it's something that we do. We do it all the time. So there's a lot of things that we probably go unnoticed that, like, oh, that bite could be handy for people.
Let's talk about the worst part. Organizing the event.
Oh, that's your worst part?
Yeah, like setting the roster. Like,
okay. I mean, yeah, that's pretty stressful.
Everything paid up in full. You know, I mean,
the getting paid up in full is my thing because it comes in stages.
Yes.
Like
I still don't have all money from the last event.
I can imagine. I can imagine because that paint bill was wild. That's one of our most expensive paint bills we've ever had.
Yes.
But well, there's other costs too that I don't think players. So yeah, like you said, let's break it down from a cost thing.
Food, travel, hotel. Those are your three biggest right there.
Yep.
Very overlooked.
I think another one's overlooked, and it's because you only do it at the beginning. I say beginning. You only do it once per season. It's that stupid ID.
IDs, yeah.
Yes, that one is very overlooked because.
Don't get me fired up on IDs.
Oh yeah, well we have a whole ID episode, so if anyone wants to listen, I believe we did that with Johnny. You can go back and listen to our rant on IDs because it is not needed. But
nope, not needed. And one master ID, all you need, or just a government fucking ID.
Yep.
A government issued ID that matches your APPA.
Yep.
All you need.
Yep. CPSL doesn't use them.
Works just fine.
Yep. I mean, I'm sure there could be some issues, but.
Like what?
They could. The issue is moving people in and out who aren't rostered. But to prevent that, I think you would just have to be more vigilant. You'd have to have somebody, who
don't check the IDs now.
That's I agree. But that's what I mean. To prevent, like, if you did check IDs, you just check for government IDs. Make sure, you're on Georgia Extreme. Oh, here you are. Cool. That's you. That's your face. Let's go.
Every time a ultimate or a ref is there and the roster is in question, they have a printout of everybody on your roster and staff, so they know your names. They can literally just grab your IDs and go down your names. Boom, 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 boom. All right, everybody checks in. You're good to go.
Yep.
Literally all you.
I got to pull you off that rant because you'll be there all fucking day.
Yeah.
We won't ever get to our topics, but yes, IDs I believe are overlooked. So we got food, travel, hotel, IDs.
Yes, right? And typically you can't really pay for that separately. It's mainly like besides your IDs and so it's all bundled together. But that's just the worst part to me. It's like getting all the shit, paying the entries, getting the paint together at the end. Thank God that Chuck and the guys got the team card for paint, so it helps it out a lot easier.
Yeah.
Jeez, man.
That's something for any teams that are listening. If you are in the position to do it, if you could have a team credit card, that is the way to go. Like PayPal card, whatever you got to do, because I think it really helped out. Because not that. I mean, we're all friends. No one was stealing money from each other, but it sucks having someone. Well,
what?
Yeah, It sucks having people having to put all that on their own personal credit cards. Eating Gushers, man. Still eating
Gushers,
Gushers.
dude. Gushers are good.
I think I brought this up on the podcast before. We walked down to the paintball field one time, and it was either Gushers or maybe Fruit Roll-Ups, and your dad blamed me and your brother. And we were like, we did not. No, it was your fucking ass eating them down there.
You were not eating candy down there on the field. Assholes, dude.
Uh-huh. But yeah, so we have those 4 costs, and then obviously you have your entry and your paint.
Ugh.
Paint. That's the one you're still owed for from a lot of people, I would imagine.
No.
Oh.
Entry.
Oh, okay. And that was the cheaper of the 2 for our group.
Yes. Yep. Travel and hotel, I think, is fucking. God, I wish we just had a time machine. We could just travel to the event. Like,
I agree.
You know what I mean? Like teleporter.
And my issue with the traveling is the time. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's not the actual. Like, I don't mind driving. It's just I hate that I lose. Like, to travel to an event. I mean, obviously everybody is experiencing it. It's 10 hours. Yeah, it's a day of travel, and it sucks.
I wish I could just wake up at 6 a.m. and teleport to the event. Play.
Yeah, I agree. That would be fucking wild.
Elon Musk.
He get us on that. Yeah, we know you're listening. Get us on that Hyperloop. Or a Tesla that does like 300 miles an hour, and I'd be fine with that. But
I can just sleep.
Yeah, big facts. So that's kind of your cost, right?
Yes.
What should players expect when they're first showing up? I mean, my first tournament, I don't remember much about it other than playing. I don't remember. Obviously, I got a GFOA ID. At the time, somehow we were dog shit, but we shot 1 case of paint per person, so like it wasn't that big. But like now, players, obviously this goes back to money, but expect to shoot 3 to 4 cases a person. Yeah, I mean,
didn't we shoot 35 cases at this event?
I mean, yeah. So what does it? There was
35 cases total. So
and there was 7 of us. So yeah, that is 7 per person. And that's wild for me and you, especially.
Well, 5.
That 5 for sorry, my math. I flipped my math, but yeah.
But still.
But checking in right now, you can MVPS and NXL. They do the pre-check, which is awesome.
That's great.
Yep. So you just sign your name, you go show your ID, pick up your card. Then obviously, again, you're still getting paint tickets for most of these events. Some events you might actually be buying each case right then and there, which that's fine too. That's just however the event does it. Some of smaller events, it's easier for them that way instead of doing a ticket system. And then you got to be like start preparing and gearing up, right? Like,
yeah, I mean,
kind of your next thing.
I think newer players get so like not afraid. They get so like jittery, like preparing. You know what I mean? Like they're freaking out. And obviously, I've been to probably over 200 tournaments. You know, and it's obviously not a thing anymore. But they're like, "Oh, we gotta get there at 5 a.m." I'm like, "Oh God!" I'm like, "Can we just get there 30 minutes before prior, like playing?" Just throw our shit on, don't paint, and just walk onto the field and play. I mean, Jesus, I hate it.
I don't know. I'm about an hour and 15 is what I like because I don't mind getting there and kind of sitting for like 10 minutes. I have weird things I do before tournaments. We've all discussed this. I mean, I gotta sleep butt ass naked in my towel, get up, take a shower, go lay back down naked for a little bit, do my thing, naked taekwondo, and I'm good to go. But I don't know. It's 30 minutes ain't enough time for me. I would recommend an hour at minimum, an hour 15, but to each their own. You just literally want someone to hand you a pod, you run on the field and shoot people.
Yes, that's all I have to do.
I know.
Monkey with a gun.
Aye. So
I think there's somebody who hasn't played before, people that are wondering how the game of paintball works.
Yeah.
I guess it would depend on the format you were playing. And I guess it's probably safe to say Xball is the new normal.
Yeah, right? I would agree with that.
Right.
I think 5-man is not I don't want to say dying. It'd be good to cover that too, but it's more of the beginner style. Like your D5s will be a race to 2, which is still race, but it's a 5-man or
we say race to 2, that means you can potentially play a team up to 3 times.
Yep.
And you have to beat that team 2 times.
Yep. Best 2 out of 3.
Typically in 5-man, the way it would go, or 3-man as well, I believe now, is you would play 4 teams 1 time.
I believe
And
so.
then you
Yep.
go to the second round and you play the same 4 teams over again. And then if you went 1-1 with the team, you play them for a third time to see who won that match. But if you go 2-0, you beat every team 2 times, 2-0, 2-0, 2-0, 2-0, you obviously advance on to the next round and you don't have to play any third round games. So
Yep.
you cut your paintball down substantially,
Yep.
right? You don't have to play all those third point games. You just 2 everybody, or you can get 0-2 all day and go home really
That helps
early.
your paint bill out too.
Yes. That's 5-man, and the way that kind of works is 5 players start on each side of the field. There's a clock that counts down. The game begins.
And it's typically going to start counting down at like 10 seconds. It's not a some depending on what software they're using, it could be a beep each time, like boop,
Yes.
how the intro to this podcast is, or it could be 10 seconds and you won't hear anything until you go. You'll hear game on or a variation of that word, or just a beep, and then you go on the next. It's like 10 seconds and then go on the beep, basically. Back, guys. Wes had. Yeah, like just like that. Wes had a work phone call, so there'll be a little bit of an edit there. I believe we were talking about the buzzer sound. So depending on the software, it's a little different. Some of the older ones, I believe, actually beep each second, so you'll hear 10 seconds, boop, 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 just like the beginning of the podcast. The newer ones, I don't think do that. I think you just hear a 10-second call. It ticks down, and you'll hear go. That's how, if you're playing. Most 5-man fields are the same.
Yeah.
Like as how we play. So I'm sure the 3-man at most big leagues run the same software on all the fields. So
Yeah. And they used to be points, but now it's just straight eliminations and flagging. So you would try to eliminate or quote unquote shoot the other players and then hang the flag, which we always say hang the flag because back in the day when we played, there was a flag in the middle of the field and you took that flag and ran down and you touched the other team's base with it.
Yep.
But now there's a button, a buzzer on the back of the other team's starting base. So you run down when the game's over and hit that buzzer, and you can actually do it with people alive too. If like you kill everybody on the right hand side of the field and there's only a guy up on the far left, you can sneak right by him and hit the buzzer.
Yep.
And if you hit the buzzer when he's still alive, that's a point for you.
Yep.
So that means you guys get that point. So no matter how it happens. And everything's on time.
Everything is on time.
Our team did not move on, our other team, our D5 team, because of time. They missed it because when they were running it, they had to play a lot of third round matches. And just by playing third round matches, you add overall time because at the end of the event, what they do is they take everybody's points and you scored 4 points, which is like 4 wins, or you scored 6 points or 6 wins. However, then they say, all right, let's see how long it took you to score these 6 points. And they go, it took you 11 minutes to score your 6 points. And this team scored 6 points in 8 minutes because they went 2-0, 2-0, 2-0, 0-2.
Yep.
And that's actually better. So they move on ahead of you. So that's typically how that works. It's pretty self-explanatory. Now, Xball is a little bit different.
Yep.
Same principles, same starting time typically, but it's a race to 4, or it could be a mercy 4, depending on the league. And when we say race to 4 is the same thing, is you have to, the first team with 4 wins not beats that team.
Yep.
And the way that goes is a split deck. So team 1 plays team 2 one time. Then right after that game, team 3 comes out and plays team 4 one time. Then you go right back out and play team 1 versus team 2 again. And you keep going back and forth, only having one game in between each game.
Yep.
Basically like no break time. And there's a total clock that counts down. It usually starts at 12 minutes.
12 minutes, yep.
So you could beat a team in 30 seconds, and that means you're 1-0 with 11 and a half minutes still left on the clock. And you basically need to score 4 points before the 12 minutes runs out.
Yep.
Which doesn't sound like a big deal, but it can be if you're like 3-2 and there's like a minute on the clock left. You know what I mean? So
especially like this kind of backtracking, going to 5-man. I believe is it 4 minutes now?
4 minutes.
Yeah, yep. I thought so. It's 4 minutes. So so they get 4 minutes per match per point, and we have 12 minutes per match, which could have like in a race to 4. I mean, there's lots of times where there's 6, 7, 8 games played.
Yep.
In that race to 4. Well, I guess not 8 in a race to 4, but 6 or 7 games play. It's pretty common. Like it's not uncommon at all.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
they'll
for
be.
sure.
It'll come down to very little time on the clock. Like you will use that full 12 minutes a majority of the time, or have
Yeah,
lots of time if someone gets 4-0 or 4-1.
yeah. And what sucks is if you're playing and you guys are like 2-2, but the two teams that are playing in the between you guys, if they get their ass beat 4-0, you go into Xball mode.
Yep.
So what that means is as soon as your game's done, there's nobody to fill the time in between you.
Yep.
They put 2 minutes on the clock and you walk off the field, you have to get air, get paint, and be back on the field to play in that 2 minutes. So there is, and that's what they say, it's an Xball mode. Basically is as soon as if a team 3 beats team 4, 4-0 or got 0 forward, they're done. They walk off. Then it's only you playing on that field for that match. So you guys play point, come off, you're running in the pits, get cleaned up, get air, trying to figure out a game plan, trying to figure out who's going back out in the field, because you typically have 7 guys on the roster, which means that are active players, 1 coach, and then typically 2 people in the pit helping out, and then 1 guy every time the point's done, he runs there, grabs all the pods, throws them in the bag, and comes back in, which is a very underrated job.
It's a very underrated job.
People will shit on that job, and it's your pod bitch. Without a quote unquote pod bitch, the team couldn't survive.
Absolutely not.
We're shooting 20, 30 pods every single game. So we need all those pods to come back in while in between us playing, get cleaned up and get filled right back up. Yeah. So that is a huge thing that's overlooked. But once he goes in Xball mode, it's kind of fun and kind of hectic at the same time.
Hectic is an understatement.
Yeah, it doesn't happen very often. It's typically both matches are running about the same unless one team is just complete bananas and just other ones just ass. You know what I mean? They just get ran into the dirt. And not very in our division. That usually doesn't happen too often. No. So, but same thing. You play 4 teams, a race to 4. At the end of those 4 teams you played, everybody's scores go up. And depending on the amount of teams there are, if there's 32 or 40 or whatever, every 4 teams are in or it could be 5 teams. There's 5-team brackets typically, sometimes more depending on how big the event is, and they'll take the top 2 teams from every single bracket. So, and that's what moves on. Then they take all those teams, goes to the next round. Then after that, it's single elimination. You lose to a team, you're done. You go home. So you have to basically win that match to keep moving on. And then you go to quarters, semis, finals, and so on and so forth.
Yep.
I think that's really the biggest thing about it. There's obviously a lot more that goes into detail about setting up game plans.
I mean, we could have a whole episode on building game plans around a specific layout because that's all layout oriented.
And I think that's the main thing is a lot of the same thing though, like as the 5-man we explained earlier. You run down, you shoot the players, you hang a flag. You can hang it when they're alive, they're dead, however you want to do it. There's also penalties in both as well.
Yep.
So we didn't really touch on penalties too much.
Nope.
We want to touch on the penalties.
Yeah, let's do that. So you got the major penalties and your minor penalties.
Like hockey, basically.
Like hockey, yeah. It used to be.
It used to be.
It was very similar to hockey back in the day. Like you'd actually have a penalty box, and there would be a penalty timer, and player would leave after. I never played during this, but I don't know if they actually was a 2-minute penalty. I'm not exactly sure how it was.
I think a 2 and a 5.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, they were pretty wild. So, like, the guy would be waiting inside the box to come out after his penalty was just like hockey. And if they knew he was getting ready to run out, you would literally just shoot the box and wait for him to run out into your paintballs. Like, this poor guy has 2 guys shooting this box waiting for him to come out. Thankfully, we don't do that anymore because that'd be a shitty job. But
I think it'd be really badass.
I mean, it would be cool, but it'd be very hectic. Like, so your minor penalties would be a yellow flag, just like a yellow card in hockey or in soccer, and it's the exact same flag they use on a football field. I'm very sure of that. So a minor would be like if you get shot, play on. They're gonna call the minor on you, and the next biggest threat on the field is how I believe it's supposed to be done. So it'd be like a 1-for-1. They're pulling you and another player. A major penalty is very similar, except they're pulling you and 2 others. And hopefully they have enough to assess on the field, or it could carry to the next point. It won't carry to the next match, just the next point.
Yeah, which means like if it's only me and Michael playing together, and Michael gets shot like normal and decides to cheat
Yep.
and shoot somebody when he's hit, or shoot somebody after he's been eliminated somehow, either called out or however, they pull him obviously, and they pull me, and they would typically pull somebody else. But if there's no one else to pull, we basically would start the next game a body down.
Yep.
Because they assess the penalty for the next point. So we would start with 4 bodies in the field.
Which is a
Which
giant
has
pain in the
happened.
ass.
Yes.
And barrel hits don't count. Just kidding, they do count. Trying to think. So that kind of covers the penalties. This is getting a little more detailed into it, but like, so some of the newer teams might understand this. And we don't do it as much in Xball because it's kind of hard. Is we play the 5-man, keeping our. I mean, we do it, but we used to have a real good system to keep our paint cool because in the summers where we play in Florida and Georgia and South Carolina, it is hot. So we had to keep it. I say on ice. We would keep our pods in a giant cooler, and I'll have to find a picture of it and post it when I do this episode. But we had basically had a piece of plywood Wes had drilled out with holes that were the same size of the pod, and we would rest all these pods, and it had ice below them, kind of just keep it chilled at it's probably 50 degrees in that cooler. I mean, it wasn't crazy cold, but it definitely wasn't hot. But that's something else teams might need to look at doing if you're playing. It doesn't work in Xball because the paint really doesn't get enough time to sit out like that, how it would in 5-man.
We typically pod up like 60 pods.
Yeah.
So,
but it's very nice if you're just playing 5-man. What else we got here? Make another little tip. This is what I do, and this is something I was taught from Wes's dad. Every time I leave the field, I air up my gun. That's the first thing I do because I don't want to be if I'm airing up. I know I'm playing the next point. People can be putting pods in my pack for me. Someone can be wiping my mask, wiping hits off me if I was shot. Whatever. And I can be sitting there filling up my air, and then I can turn around. I can hear the game plan from the coach, tell me what I'm doing. I can go cool, and I can be ready to walk on. And normally, it'll still be a minute, even if we're playing Xball. Like, it doesn't take that long to get ready as long as you have the numbers in the pits helping you to get ready.
Yeah.
If you don't have those numbers, if you don't have 7 players, you could almost get away with no coach, but at this level, it's still very difficult. I think you need a coach. But 7 players and 3 people in the pits, I think, is a minimum. You know, like you need 7 players. You need someone who is dedicated running pods every time, and you have to have 2 people who are 100% cleaning and filling pods because I don't think it can be done without that. If all those, however you do it, just you need basically 10 people at minimum on a roster with 7 players and 3. You can get away with like a coach / pod filler. However you want to organize that would be on you, but that's how I would do it. I don't think I'd play on a big name line if I didn't have at least those numbers helping me out. It'd be very hectic.
We have, and it doesn't work out well.
Yeah, it's very difficult to do.
Yeah.
I mean, there could be too many people in a pit too.
That
happens, but 10 I think is a good number. 10 or 11.
Total, yes.
Yeah. So trying to think. I mean, it's weird explaining something I do all the time for people who don't understand it. Because normally if I am talking about paintball, I'm talking about paintball to people who have been around paintball for a minimum of 5 years.
Yes.
So
people, it's like when you talk to people at work or people on Facebook don't see you play.
Yeah.
And they're like they always think that you just like play
in the woods.
Like in the woods. Or they think you like play for fun. Like
yeah.
You know what I mean? Just like to go shoot some paintball or some people, brother.
Yep.
It's like, no, like I've wasted a lot of my money playing this terrible sport. Like I've traveled hundreds of probably 100,000 miles. Like
easily, man. Oh boy. I wish I knew. Like obviously you can't. I wish I knew what my KD was. If my KD is positive or negative. I really do, because I know there's some tournaments I might die only 3 times, but I'm like, I don't know if I shot more than one person. I didn't die a lot, but we were winning. So I was just containing people. I don't think I shot that many people this past weekend, and I think I probably was like even. I probably only realistically died 5 or 6 times, but I can only confirm like 5 or 6 people I killed, and I'm like, okay, well if I go even all the time, we win. I don't give a fuck. But I wish I knew from like tournament time from like 2007 to now if I had like do I have a 1.1 or do I have a 0.93 or what's
Yeah,
the KD am I rocking
that'd
here?
be awesome. When they're trying to do that, you see that in the NXL,
Yeah.
they're people with that. That's still not right though, because people are probably getting credit for like kills that they
Oh
didn't.
yeah. Well, and how do you credit the person? Like, I mean, me and you do this all the time, or me, you, and Jamie. We'll double a gun on a lane. We don't
Yeah,
know who shot it, so do you give them both the kill? But then or do you give them both half a kill? Because then if you gave them both a kill, your math wouldn't be right.
yeah,
So you'd have to give them a half a kill. But what if three guys shot the lane? Then you're giving them 0.33 repeating of a kill.
yeah. I don't know how that
I
works.
don't know either. Oh, the same thing. I'd also like to know how many paintballs I have shot. I
Oh
think that
god,
would be another. That number would just be ridiculous. Because back in the day,
over a
when,
million. Sure.
oh yeah, easily. Like when I first started playing a lot, still didn't have a lot of money. I was at practice shooting 2 bags. Like
Yeah.
that was like all I could afford to shoot. It was like me and Jamie were splitting a case, and then
Yeah,
I'd go to a tournament and I had enough for 1 case of paint. So we're
yeah,
playing 5-man with 5 dudes with 5 cases of paint, going, hope we make it to the finals, but not really because we don't have any more money. So we don't know how that's going to work. And now
yeah.
it's like you said, we shot 35 cases. Or
It's
like we go
normal
to
now.
Cup, we shoot 25 to 30 cases. We go play CPSL, we shoot 15 to 20. Like, it's crazy. So that number has got to be wild. And like, I never shot a lot of paint up until like the past, probably last season, I started shooting more. Just, I feel like paintball's changing and everyone plays like a zone format. So I have
It
to shoot
definitely
more
has.
paint.
Yes.
And that has really increased my paint budget over these years. Because even practices now, I'll buy 1 case and I'll normally buy a second case and split it with somebody else. So I'm shooting a case and a half at practice. Which,
Yeah.
if you would have told me I was ever shooting more than 1 case at practice, I would have said there's no way that's going to happen.
Yeah.
But it's just those numbers are crazy.
I can't imagine.
I hope my KD's positive. That's just like my saving grace. It doesn't even have to. It could be positive by 1.
Yeah.
I don't care.
1.01.
Mm-hmm. Because there's other tournaments I feel like, wow, I just shot a shit ton of people and didn't die at all. I'm like, I was getting all the kills this weekend because that paintball's a weird game like that. Well, I mean, all sports are, I guess, but there are some times where someone just has a lights out weekend, and it's like,
well, I think it also plays on how the field is laid out and how the field plays to your ability.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Definitely.
You obviously don't have a lot of spots you can go. You can't play. You can't go dive into the snake and play the snake. You know what I mean?
Absolutely not. I know that the CPSL we won, or not CPSL. Well, the CPSL too, but the SPL, the 2 events I have won, the SPL and the CPL. Those layouts were damn near catered to me. Like both of them had even this last one was actually kind of catered to me too. They had big bricks towards the back and on like a D side where I could like shoot a lane, come to this brick, and I'm like, oh, these gaps between these Doritos are nothing. So I'm just like, I can play behind you or Gordon or Can, and then if y'all die, I'm literally just like, okay, cool, I can go. They killed 2, I'll kill the other 3. They killed 3, I'll kill the other 2. Like, push down a Dorito side. If I was faster, that's my biggest downfall. If I was faster, my gun skill's as good as anybody else. I'm just slow as shit. So I got to be fast off the box. So my first few shots are where they need to be and go, okay, I'll help you guys in a minute once this game settles down and we get a kill.
God.
Oh, that's funny. What do you think? You think we missed anything? It's hard. It's hard when it's something you are so familiar with.
Just because it's not something we talk about from the beginning to the end. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm just.
How about different topic? But
okay.
How about some of this JT gear coming out?
I mean, I like it. I think it looks awesome. Let me pull it up on my other screen here.
It looks really fucking cheap.
Now, when you say it looks really cheap, are you talking about everything? So you're talking about the PB Retro stuff, right?
Yes. I'm assuming that's basically GT, right?
From what I can tell, yeah. I mean, because it's done by John. I mean, I'm looking at these JT joggers. They got, looks like this pod pack. Yeah, the joggers kind of look a little janky. The pod pack looks definitely janky.
The shorts. Go down like 2 pages of the shorts.
It's talking about like the board shorts?
Yes.
Yeah, the ones I see here are green.
Yeah, green and blue or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Fucking cheap. It all looks really, really cheap. Like
I don't know if all of it looks cheap because some of this Miami Rage stuff looks dope.
That's probably old looking inventory or something.
No, it's remakes is what it is. But that Miami Rage jersey looks dope. I like that.
Yeah.
See, and I don't. Yeah, The shorts I'm not on board with. And where are those joggers?
Packs look terrible.
Yeah, let me open up those packs too. I'm sure everyone can hear me clicking around here. Okay, so I'm gonna call out someone in this a little bit. These packs look like the Debo Designs packs that are done by, I don't want to say his name because we'll get a lot of hate, but
Debo Designs.
Everybody knows him. I have one of his jerseys, and the Can's gonna know who it is. I forget his last name, but the Eli guy. That he used to work with MacDev, and he sells a lot of stuff. That he did sell a lot of stuff down in Florida. I don't know what happened to him, but I have an idea of what happened to him. So I'm saying this in a weird way. Allegedly, he's in jail right now. I don't know why. I don't know if he's 100% in jail, but that's what I heard. And like I ordered you know what Blue Mountain State is, right? The TV show. Yes. I ordered a Blue Mountain State jersey from him in 2019 in like July. I didn't get it till Cup of 2019. And he just like, I would message. He was like, yeah, it'll be like 3 to 4 weeks. I was like, okay, you know what I mean? Custom, a semi-custom jersey. I was like, that's no big deal, whatever. And then like a month went by, yeah, man, I got it. Yeah, man, I got it. And then it was like October. He's like, hey, you going to be at Cup? I'm like, yeah, I'm going to be at Cup. And it was like, I have voice messages from him on my phone and they are wild. We were at the VM tent and like, I seen him walk up because I've had interactions with him before over the years. Yeah. So I went over to him and he was like, oh yeah. He goes, I forgot I had this thing. I thought I shipped it out to you. And then like, no one had heard from him since then. And apparently he's in jail for, I don't know exactly what for. And I don't even know if he's in jail or just ghosting everybody on Facebook. Maybe everybody says he's in jail, but he could just be ghosting people. But this pack looks exactly like what he was making. Like all those small people making their gear.
I mean, you see it. I'll have to dig in more into the GI stuff that's going on. But I see inside like the other chats of like them talking a little more in depth about the Remington stuff and all that kind of stuff. You know, so I'll have to get a little more into that.
Because this PB Retro, I believe I don't know if it's owned or ran by John from PB Nation. So I'm not exactly sure, but he also is, I believe, the marketing director for Core, which would be the new GI stuff. Let me see here. I think I read that on Facebook. Yeah, Core Outdoor names their marketing manager. This was the beginning of the year. Yeah, and it's John. So I don't know if he owns PB Retro and is doing the marketing for them. And I don't know how much of a role he still has in PB Nation. But I've dealt with him personally with a few things, and he's always been good to me. Like he sold me some PB Nation jerseys, and like I paid for one of them. He shipped me 2. I messaged him, and he was like, he goes, keep it or give it to someone at the field. And it was a size too small, so I gave it to one of the players. I gave it to Joey. So it's like he was always good. So nothing against him, but it's kind of weird seeing some of the gear they're putting out. It does look a little
cheap.
Yeah. I mean, the tanks look good, but it's just the
tanks are gonna be somebody else's stuff.
Yeah, when you
a Ninja tank probably with a power.
Yes, when you buy a tank, the tank itself doesn't really matter. Like in this whole scheme of things, it's whatever you're buying the reg. Like that's what you want when you're buying it. Like the bottle is for the most part whatever. Sure, there's the ultralights for the Ninja SLs and the ultralights from HKs, and I think Dye even has a ultralight bottle now. Yeah. But all the bottles are there's not a big difference. They're all carbon wrapped cylinders, but the reg is what you're wanting, and it looks like they have the upgrade to those powerhouse haymakers, which that's definitely a good thing for these bottles. I like the bottle. I think the white bottle looks great.
I seen it yesterday.
Yeah, I wish it wasn't in an 80 cubic inch. It looks like they're only selling 80, which is a little big. If I could get it in like a 70 or a 68, and I know you need your 45s, but
baby.
Yeah, the pants do look meh, but it looks like that's what X Factor wears.
It looks cheap. Well, it looks cheap on there.
Yeah,
not what GT used to be about.
No. I wish I had a. Well, I do. I'm actually looking at my JT above me ATV helmet because I used to like wearing that because I was like, oh, I can wear my flexes when I'm playing and wear my JT helmet when I go ride.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they were big in the motocross.
Yep. I was looking for a racing strap at the time, which came off of all their racing stuff, and I found a forum, and it was long closed down, but it was from like probably 2004, and it was an ATV forum, and the guy was like, yeah, he goes, it was weird. He goes, all these paintball players were coming in here buying our straps, and I'm like, yeah, they were probably going to your forum, buying them for next to nothing, and they'd go on PB Nation and they were like doubling their money. And the guy was like, yeah, he goes, I sold so many of these straps. He said, because to me they were just another strap, like it was just a goggle strap. But all the paintball players were like, they look different. Let's buy them. But that's funny. What else you got, sir? Is that all you got?
I think that's it. Yeah,
I think that's it. I mean, we went about 30 minutes. It's kind of what we were shooting for. It would definitely, the topic we chose is a difficult one to cover. Yeah, I guess I'll close it out unless there's anything else you wanted to say.
No, not really.
No.
Looking forward to a practice this week. We took off this past week, so
yeah, I have. I'll be out there Saturday.
Saturday.
Yeah, I have a bachelor party out there with some friends. I might do a double day. I don't know what my Saturday night looks like.
Day. Love to see it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, are you coming to pick up my cocker or what?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to come by and either pick up your cocker or your wife's cocker because I sold my CVO yesterday actually.
Yeah. Oh, did you really?
I did. Yeah.
That?
Dylan, actually, the kid that always talks to us at Hoppers.
He needs a full on tournament gun.
Well, he's got the electro frame. He messaged me, asked me if I was selling it, and I had said yeah. I was like, it has both frames. And I asked, I was like, what frame do you want installed on it? Because I'll go ahead and put whatever one for him. Yeah. And he was like, can you do the CVO frame? And I was like, if that's what you want, yeah. I was like, I have no problems putting that one on there for you.
I thought he had like 58 mech guns.
I guess. I don't know. I think he just really likes his mech.
Yeah.
So I found my podcast stickers finally. So I was able to finally give that poor kid some podcast stickers. I even gave him the signature Moon Pie holographic sticker and a few George Extreme stickers.
Sign it? You should sign it.
So I should have signed it. I need to sign all the backs of every single one of them.
Yes.
Just so everyone can be like, hey, you get my sig and a great sticker. But I guess I'll close this one out of here. So thanks for listening, watching. We sold some hoodies this week. And if you haven't checked it out, you can get you a George Extreme hoodie now on our podcast site. We sold 2 George Extreme hoodies. So I believe Michael Payne bought one. I don't know who bought the other one.
Probably Arthur. Probably more than
so likely. I don't know who, but they were purchased. So thanks for buying those. It definitely helps keep the podcast running. And check out all the other episodes if you want to hear us rant on IDs. We talked about it in the beginning. You can get a whole episode on it.
That's a what's it, conspiracy episode?
Yes, it is. I should have played alien music in the middle of that one or something. Tinfoil hats and stuff.
You ever watched you might not watch it much, but
X-Files?
No. Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
No, I never have. Right. I'll have to check that one out.
I'll leave the joke out of it.
Okay. Yeah. So that's everyone's homework. Watch Sunny in Philadelphia and listen to our podcast. All right. All right, we'll catch you on the next one. Peace out.
Later, guys.
Boom. That worked well.
There's the guy, you would know the guy. He plays in a lot of movies.
Is it the guy is that someone where someone dresses like a dog? No, that's Wilfred.
Yes.